tell us what you got.
Yeah, okay, I'm Brian Caserio. I got a company called Side Off Video where I distribute windsurfing and kiteboarding videos, but I've been making my own housings since 1992, and now I sell these as well. These are both for the Canon 7D, DSLR housings. And my housings are purely for topside use. They're not designed for diving. I do pressure test them to maybe 30 feet, 2 atmospheres or something, but they're normally flat front ports. I will do a dome port once in a while for like a fisheye or something. But it's a fiberglass, molded fiberglass housing. And the front port, I think that's one thing that's different about my housings versus some other housings you can get, and this probably comes from my video background, is my front ports are glass and they're flush. So you can use some sort of method to keep your spots off, or you can use a squeegee. I actually use a squeegee, and what that does is allows me to use autofocus a lot better. It eliminates water drops when you do that completely, and autofocus is far more accurate in focusing. But if you got a lot of water flying and a little sheen of water on there or something, then it can mess up with your autofocus. Which you can do both. But I like the squeegee. Like wakeboarder guys and water ski guys like the squeegee because their conditions are pretty controlled. They don't want any water on there at all. The squeegee really helps out. If it's really windy or something like that, then the squeegee doesn't work so much. And I use all mechanical controls. They're Icolite controls, and I do that because I've seen a lot of people with electronic controls travel to far off places, and then their electronics screw up. They get moisture or corrosion in there, fires off all their shots accidentally or something like that. This is more mechanical. If you have a problem, you can fix it yourself if you got a couple tools and stuff, but they just basically don't break. Especially if you're gonna use your housing for months and then store it for 2 years, you come back to it, it'll still be the same. A little lube on the shaft and you're gone. And this is a DSLR housing. It comes out of a mold for the 7D. It's got interchangeable front ports, so whatever lens you've got, you can change the port. This one is for the 17 to 40 L series lens. It's got a slop tolerant gear there to change the zoom range. And this is the direct press for the shutter release. It also changes the mode dial on the top. You can change your aperture. This hits the video and live view function on and off. That changes the dial. You can put the camera on manual. You can change your shutter speed and your aperture if you want. And this accesses the info, the menu button, and the quick button too. So I've designed this housing so that if you want to shoot video and stills on the same session without coming in, taking the camera out of the housing, change your settings, you can. And the difference between shooting stills is usually you're shooting on AV and you have a different picture style than you might if you're shooting video. You shoot video, you want to shoot on manual, so you change the entire mode of the camera, and then you're going to have far different shutter speeds. Most people shoot 50 or 125 125th of a second to mimic film, which is not what you're shooting when you shoot stills. So I have the necessary controls to be able to do that. It's not an instant change. It's going to take you 30 seconds or a minute, but you can do it.
And you're showing the pistol grip, but you can easily swap that over to a...
Right, this is a pistol grip. Actually came off an old housing I had. It's the same bolt pattern, and this tape is on here because I used it as a pole. And I have this that goes down to the bottom of the pole. Where I take photos, a lot of times it's shallow, I can stand and get a little different perspective. I normally have the double handle for a 7D. The 7D shoots video and it's kind of heavy, so this gives you a more stable way to hold it. This one is for a fixed length housing. This is for my 15 to 85 lens, which I think is the perfect range to shoot in the water from. Although it's not the ideal lens because the lens barrel moves a lot. I had to flare it out to get rid of vignetting and stuff. But other than that, it's the same housing. And I have rear loading housing, which I think is really good for the Canons with the video controls in the back, so you can see them. I don't like the front loading housings if you can't see the back. You can't see your buttons and you can't see your LCD screen. So That's the way, and you can visually check your seal. It's real easy to look through the plexiglass and see that you're sealed, and that's always comforting to know.
Okay, what kind of price ranges are we looking for those 2 units?
This is sort of just a prototype, but this is the typical one that I sell, which is the interchangeable front port. So with one port and the housing, I usually go around $1,100.
Okay, and now you also have something unique there that goes right on your wrist. Let's talk about that a little bit.
I developed this a few years ago. You can use a GoPro now for the same type of thing, but you don't get the quality as a DSLR. It's a hinged mold of my arm with the mount for the camera, and I can follow people like this. It's like the poor man's jet ski. It's really developed for kiteboarding. My specific use is to kite with the camera and shoot windsurfers. So you need, because it's easy to shoot with the kite because you don't have to switch the sail and jibe and stuff, and the lines aren't in the way of the shot, where if you're windsurfing, you've got the sail to shoot around. And when you're shooting kiting, if you're kiting and you are shooting kiters, then it's a little bit dodgy with the lines and everything. But with windsurfing, especially on a longer wave like down in Baja, this is insane.
And do you actually make that unit for retail?
I have not ever made one of these for someone else. This requires a high level of riding if you're going to go out and do this with someone. So someone is a pretty specific person that will want something like this. But one thing to note is that you can mount anything on those housings, be it a pole or one of these, or mount it to something else like a boat or something like that. You can adapt the mount to do whatever you want. And since I make them out of fiberglass, I can change things. I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to switch this or do that," and they'll send it back to me. I'll literally, cut the front off, or put another, mount or T-nut on the inside to connect to something else, and repaint it, and it looks like good to go.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Sure.